In this video, we're going to be solving problems involving the sum of consecutive integers. Example 1, the sum of two consecutive integers is 13. Find the two integers. So first thing we need to know is, what does consecutive integers mean? Integers that follow each other. They follow in a sequence or in order. For example, 1, 2, 3. Those would be three consecutive integers. So to go about solving this equation, I'm first going to allow my first number to equal x, and then that would mean my second number would have to be x plus 1 because that would be the next number in the sequence. So then it says the sum means addition, so I'm going to add my first and my second number and it's going to equal 13. So that gives me an equation that looks like this. Next, I'm just going to solve this equation like a normal algebra equation. So I'm going to combine my two x's. So x plus x is 2x. So I have 2x plus 1 equals 13. Then I need to move my positive 1. I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides. And then that's going to give me 2x equals 12 because 13 minus 1 is 12. Next, I need to divide by 2 on both sides. And so when I do that, 12 divided by 2 is going to give me 6. So then at this point, you're going to substitute back into the defined variables that I did in the beginning. So my first number would be x, which is equal to 6. And then I'm going to substitute the x in for my second number. So I'm going to have 6 plus 1, that's going to equal 7. So my two consecutive integers with the sum of 13 is going to be 6 and 7. Example 2, the sum of three consecutive integers is negative 36. Find the three integers. So to set up this equation to solve for the three integers, I'm going to let x represent our first integer like I did in my first example. And so the next one in the sequence would be x plus 1, so that's going to be my second number. And then the third number would be x plus 2. So the process is exactly the same as example 1, except I'm now adding in a third integer. So then I'm going to set up the equation to solve for the integer, the first one, and so the first and the second and the third, the sum is going to be negative 36. So that means they're all going to add to be 36. So then I'm going to take those expressions and I'm going to make them an equation. So then I have x plus 1 plus x plus 2 equals negative 36. Now I'm going to combine my like terms on my left side of the equation, and I'm going to have 3x plus 3, and that's going to equal negative 36. Next, I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides of the equation, and then I'm going to have 3x is equal to negative 39. And then my last step in solving this equation is divide by 3 on both sides, and then I'm going to be given x is equal to negative 13. So that means my first integer is going to be negative 13. And then I'm going to take that negative 13 and I'm going to substitute it in for my second integer where the x is. So I'm going to have negative 13 plus 1, that's going to equal negative 12. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my third integer. I'm going to take negative 13 and substitute in it for x. So I'll have negative 13 plus 2, which is equal to negative 11. So my three consecutive integers that have a sum of negative 36 is going to be negative 13, negative 12, and negative 11. And the nice thing about these is that if you were to add negative 13 plus negative 12 plus negative 11, you will get negative 36. So that is a great way to check your answer to see if you are doing it correctly. Example 3, the sum of three consecutive even integers is negative 36. Find the three integers. So this example is different from example 2 because we are doing consecutive even integers. So first, we have to figure out what is an even integer. It is an integer that is divisible by 2. So let's think about our even integers. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, so forth. Okay, so that's the type of numbers we're wanting to get here. So we're going to do the same process. We're going to allow our first integer to equal x, but this time the second integer is not going to be x plus 1, it's going to be x plus 2 because we actually skip over a number when you have even integers. And then our third, same thing, it's going to skip another number, so the third integer is going to equal x plus 4. And now from here on out, everything else is going to be the same. So we're going to take those expressions and set up an equation to have the sum equal to negative 36. And then we're going to simplify the left side of the equation. So that's going to give us 3x plus 6 equals negative 36. And then we're going to subtract 6 on both sides. 3x is going to equal negative 42. And then I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. X is going to equal negative 14. So that's going to be my first integer. And then my second integer, I got to substitute in negative 14 in for x. So I'll have negative 14 plus 2, which is equal to negative 12. Notice here, so far, those are both even integers. They are divisible by 2, and they're skipping. So the integer between negative 14 and negative 12 is actually negative 13. That's what we want here. We want to skip over that odd integer. And then next, we're going to take negative 14 and substitute it in for our third integer. So we have negative 14 plus 4. That's going to equal negative 10. So then our 3 consecutive even integers is going to equal to negative 36. It's going to be negative 14, negative 12, and negative 10. If we were to add those 3 integers, we would get negative 36. So that tells us that we did it correctly, plus all 3 of them are even, which is another indicator that we did this correct. Please note that you would follow the same process if you were solving a problem involving 2 or 3 consecutive odd integers. So the first integer would equal x, the second would equal x plus 2, the third would be equal to x plus 4, because you're going to still skip over a number even if you were solving for consecutive odd integers.